And at the Council on Developmental Disabilities, this is what we focus on, and that's welcoming communities, but also inclusion and being part of. And that's what the Council on Developmental Disabilities stands for folks with intellectual and other developmental disabilities, but other disabilities as well. And there are 56 councils across the nation. Every state and territory has one council. So you're one North Carolina council. And we invest in people with disabilities to find ways to support self-determination, meaning kind of directing your life and thinking about what's next and having goals and having that journey. We talk about people being productive. And that's going to change depending on where you are in life. And we think about that as a young person, primarily, and today we're talking about the importance of employment, but also what comes next. And so what's that journey look like? We look at independence, inclusion, and a lot of key areas that are important to everyone. And I'll come back to employment for a minute. So we launched into this initiative, and we're one of the sponsors of Everybody Works for a reason. If you think about employment, how important is that to you? Well, we're all employed here. And thank you, Jackie, to you for what you do, and for the students that are here and those that are training. And in fact, if I understand, the spread back here was folks who are working on their culinary schools who put that out for you. So we need to be looking at different ways for folks to be moving into the workforce in a productive way. Employment is one of a couple of outcomes that actually means other outcomes are present. So think about employment for you. Well, you're around other people. It means to friendships. But it also means to earning some money, which means you're then going to go spend that money in your community. And it means to more choices in where you live and who you live with and what you do with your time and your future. So the council has three primary goals, and I'm not going to talk for long. I'm going to try to follow our mayor's lead here on 2 minutes or less. I may be up against my 2 minutes already, but three main goals. Our first goal, and this is what all of our investments are about, we invest in pilots and initiatives to show how it can be done and to promote opportunities in these three areas. One is financial and asset security. Well, that means if you have some money, you can have some savings. It's going to ripple into a lot of areas in your life. So that's for young kids in terms of transitions to work. It's for work, and it's also understanding more about how you manage your finances in a complicated world. So financial asset development is our first goal of our 5-year plan. Our second goal is around community living. So how is it that people choose who they live with and where they live? And what about health care? And what about relationships? So we focus efforts in those areas as well. Our third primary goal is leadership development. So if you have resources and you're making choices in your life, then there's an opportunity for you to talk about that and to be an example and to be engaged with folks like the North Carolina Business Leadership Network and employers in talking about this is why it's going to be successful for you and for me if you hire me. So I do want to mention there are other sponsors here, and so VR is a sponsor with us. So back in October, during Disability Employment Awareness Month, we realized we shouldn't just talk about employment and diversity employment during 1 month of the year. And I know we talk about it more than that, but we wanted the campaign to be kicked off, and we did that at the North Carolina Business Leadership Network Conference. Beth Butler's here, she'll speak to you. And we also talked a lot with vocational rehabilitation about the importance of this. And so VR and Tara Myers, who'll be talking to you in a minute, we're sponsoring this initiative with the Secretary and with the Governor. And so we thought today is a great chance to highlight the Governor's perspective on employment and his commitment to employment and the Secretary's commitment to employment in the department. And there are so many successes, we just have to do more to talk about those successes and build on that. Success breeds success. So before I ramble on more, you're always supposed to have talking points also. And if you don't, then you tend to ramble on. So I know that I don't have many more talking points here, so I'm going to stop. And again, Jackie, thank you very much. We scrambled quickly. We wanted to do this in this month, and Jackie really stepped up and worked Source East to make this happen and to really, and embraced it and excited about it. So I appreciate all your work. We all do on this. Thank you.